Monday, 28 October 1968 was a perfect spring day for golf in Adelaide. Fine, warm, sunny. And with the cooperation of the Australian Golf Association, real estate company LJ Hooker had organised the ideal match. 4 of the world's leading golfers, fresh from playing the Australian Open at Lake Carron at Perth, won by Jack Nicklaus. He was to be joined by Arnold Palmer, Gary Player and Bruce Devlin. 5 members who were present on that day, George Blight, Alan Springford, Dennis Brown, Chris Martin and George Cooper, chatted with Jeff Spears about their experiences. Alan Springford, what was your take on the day?
All 3 of us came to see this exhibition. All of them, the 4 players, had all played in Perth on the final day on Sunday previously in the Australian Open. Then they came across here and gave this exhibition match. We were told at the beginning where everyone was there to enjoy themselves. Feel free to talk to the players, and they were quite happy for people to talk to them. They went to the 10th tee, had a practice. They were hitting some iron shots down the 10th fairway.
George Cooper, do you recall Norman von Nider comparing the event?
He was full of all the quips. He introduced the players, and they started off and they were playing some shots down the 10th fairway.
That was practice shots.
That was practice, and the caddies were the state juniors.
What do you remember about the practice session, Chris Martin?
It hit from where the first rise is, where the gum tree is on the corner, just hit up to the top of the fairway where it flattens out. And then after they'd done their warm up with the various clubs, Nicklaus said, I'll show you how to hit a 1-iron. And then he proceeded to hit a variety of 1-iron shots, and they say it's a difficult club, but if you know how to use it. And he was just amazing with that.
After the players had hit some shots and loosened up, they moved to the first tee. And what do you remember from there, Dennis Brown?
I remember that their first drive, we went down to wait for where the first drive was going to finish, and they didn't get to it. They were quite a bit short. There was a fair bit of breeze into them that we didn't allow for, but they came, just over that rise where there's that tree on the right. That wasn't there, and they were just about there, whereas some of our guys hit a lot further than that, and they would have, but the wind was against them.
Yes, and so they worked their way down the first okay, and they all got past, I think, or one of them might have got a birdie.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the scores were, but the second hole was where the fun started.
That's where a player hit out of bounds?
Yeah, well, where the ladies' tee is now,
yes.
I reckon that we were even around a bit further in those days, just from memory, the men's tee, and there was no protection for the new houses that were being built or had been built on the right-hand side of that fairway. And Gary Player got instructions from, I think it was, I'm not too sure whether it was from Brian, but to cut the corner, which he did. He cut the corner, but Brian told him too far around.
Yes, one of the caddies got into trouble, one Gordon Dick, who was a famous member of our club. He was caddying for Gary Player, and the old second tee, which was close to the fence over near the pines, Player asked him, how much can I cut off the corner, and he came off the drive a bit and went out of bounds, and he did not like that. He gave Gordon a real spray for...
Did he?
Yeah, and that's how serious and competitive Player was, and that stuck in my mind.
The course was much more open in those days, wasn't it, George Blight?
Very open, yeah. Especially the front nine, which was slightly different to what it is today, but the original front nine was the better, more aesthetic with trees. I mean, a lot were planted, I won't say, but there were a lot of natural trees there as well. And the back nine was very open.
At that stage, I think the only thing I can really remember, the clubhouse was there, and it was pretty well open paddock still. Subdivision had been done. I think there was some building, but very, very little building in the estate at that time. So it was a real precursor to the sale of land in that area.
Many trees around on the estate generally, or
A lot of natural habitat was there, and certainly the architecture of the golf course blended in with following the creeks as pretty well as it does now. But
look, the course was so much easier because the trees hadn't grown. And in as much as when you were playing the sixth, it didn't really matter, because whether you were on the fifth fairway or the sixth fairway.
The course has progressed, and I think in those early days there were a few holes where greens just ran away from you at a very awkward angle, and I can remember with the exhibition, Palmer and Player didn't know what to do. The third green used to go on about a 45-degree angle away from you, and had a big mound at the back, so they put theirs down on the mound, at the base of the mound, had about 20 footers, and just canned the putts with a ridiculous ease. And that was one of the main things I can remember. Gary Player was just in awe of the quality of the greens and the grass that they'd used, and did spend some time finding out what the story was. And I think he even had a sample of the turf sent home to South Africa. He was so impressed by it.
I can't remember much about that first nine, other than on the fourth hole, Nicklaus hit the ball out, and he's marking the ball, marking the yardage. And someone said, "Hey, what are you marking the yardage for?" And he says, "I might come back one day." And I've got to be kidding,
At times the players took things seriously, at other times there was much light-hearted banter.
Palmer on the 12th, I don't know what he did, he sort of slightly hooked the ball. Now bear in mind, the trees that are down the 12th now they weren't as tall as they are now, but it hit a tree and landed on the road. And this was another funny time. He came up there, we followed him up to the road, and he said, "I'll get a drop off here." And again some wisecrack said, "Oh, come on, you can play it off there." And he looked, and he took a ball and dropped and hit an 8-iron to the green. Then he said, "Give me a ball," to the caddy. He dropped the ball on the road, and he said, "Just to prove I can do it, hit the same 8-iron straight to the green."
The players all had very differing techniques.
Devlin was amazing for the stature of the guy and the short swing. He could hit it a country mile too. But the 17th used to be played from the hill where ladies play on the 8th. We used to go out and around the creek, virtually aiming up at the 10th green. And Devlin hit this beautiful draw over the corner, and it just sailed. He was a long way down. He was lazy long for He seemed a short abbreviated swing, but geez, arms, forearms. He had a plumbing apprenticeship, I think, and he had a powerful set of wrists, and a very controlled golfer.
Palmer was all action. Here's his book here. Palmer really got stuck into it. How when you try to make it an even sort of swing, not with Palmer. He was most noticeable, whereas the others were more of the traditional type swing. He wasn't that way at all. And then his follow through was different too.
Arnold Palmer's finish there.
So it's a stiff arm finish, and then he comes
It
back.
had gone up, then it came back to pointing to where the ball was going. Player played with a lot more wrist than the others, because he was very small. Gary Player was not a big man, but he seemed to play more wrist, and he was lighter on his feet. He didn't, you know, his feet weren't planted as the others were. But Devlin, I thought, had the best swing of all of them. Jack Nicklaus fades the ball. Gary Player drew the ball. And Bruce Devlin seemed to hit the ball just straight. But and when they got on the putting green, this is when it all started. Getting to the green was just the meat and potatoes. Once they were onto the green, then they started getting really serious. And toward the end, they were doing a little bit of jangling the keys in the pocket, you know, while the other bloke was putting. But it was all good fun. It was all really good fun.
It beat Nicklaus and Palmer. I think had already driven off, and they were a long way down. They really hit the ball a long way. And Player turns to us all and says, "They say you don't try to overhit in golf. That's rubbish. Just have a look at this. Because look at the size of me and look at the size of them," he says, "you're going to see a wind up, look out." And he actually, because we made it so obvious to us, his toes were on the ground like a ballerina. Had tremendous arc because it increases the size of him. And when his ball finished, they were about 3 or 4 feet away from each other. And he said, "There you are."
I remember, you know, watching Palmer and Nicklaus in the 60s. I mean, they hit the ball very differently. You know, Palmer used to hit these low, sizzling sort of shots, but you can't think of any of those.
No, I can't. I can't remember that. No. But I can remember Nicklaus stating the greens, how the grass, the quality of grass on the greens. And
None of the players liked the green on the par 3 15th, now the 14th, but they were still able to indulge in a bit of horseplay.
I tried to go from a hole in front of them. I can remember on the old 14th, which was the long par 3, the back there, standing up high up on the mound there, and watching them tee down to the green.
They all hit irons to the green, and I remember Palmer had marked his ball, Player had marked his ball near the hole, and then Player came round behind Arnie Palmer, and Palmer put his ball back, and was about to putt, and he was aware of Player right behind him watching, and he just went bang and hit it. The hole was down there, and he hit it way out to the left of the hole. And he said, "Did you get the line, Gary?" I mean, that's how they were, and they still scored damn good scores.
One of them held the putter like so, and just as he's about to putt, drops the putter. That's how the atmosphere was. And whoever was putting took absolutely no notice about it, you know. I'm sure it was Gary Player turned to the others and said, "A bulldozer here and replace this hole." So obviously we haven't listened to Gary Player. It's exactly that same hole with that slope on that, quite frankly, I would have thought most of us hate.
For the audience, and we like to think the players, it was a great day, something for the memory to savour, with our interviewees taking away different impressions.
I've never forgotten it.
No.
You don't see that sort of thing.
No.
Where in the world would you see 1, 2 and 3 playing on a non-masters court?
I mean, this is what they do. This is what they're used to doing. Playing exhibition matches and jollying it up for the punters. After it had finished, Arnie Palmer's outside the pro shop and he said, "Can somebody get me a beer?" Somebody got him a beer, and he was there for 3/4 of an hour signing scorecards, golf balls, whatever, and just talking to people. He's an absolute and utter gentleman.
You know, they were all friendly and talking. As I said, they mixed with the crowd. I mean, they walked with people all around them, talking to them, and they answered some questions, others they didn't. But they joined in. They sort of, it was a fun day.
I gather that quite a few people joined the club on the strength of the...
Oh, I think it wouldn't have been a negative, that was for sure, and probably helped people making lifestyle choices with, yeah, hey, looks like a nice spot to live.
So probably both.
Yeah,
Nice place to live and a nice golf course to join.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that was the memory of a lot of people. You know, gee, this clubhouse is impressive. This is nice. Yes.
Everything about it was enticing. Just one of those happy days that you have in your life in golf. You know, that you can say, well, gee, that was really enjoyable. The players, they not in the same serious mood as they would be a professional tournament. They played and they'd have a bit of a joke amongst themselves. A bit of banter between them, yeah, for sure. Which the crowd did enjoy.
Yes.
You know, because it made them look as though they were human beings, not robots, you know. But that was a different era too.
To the Flagstaff Hill Golf Club, congratulations on celebrating 50 years. That's quite an achievement. Adelaide is a very special place for me because I set the Australian Open record there at Kooyonga, 262s in the same tournament. It's still an Australian Open record today in spite of all the new equipment. I also won the Australian Open at another course. I cannot quite remember the name of it now. I am 80. But this is something special for your members. I believe that Arnold, Jack and a host of us had played the golf course. Great memories of Adelaide. To all your members, may you have many, many years of happy golf. Golf has been such a great game for me. It's enabled me to travel more miles than any human being ever. I've won all these tournaments, which I've been very blessed to be able to do that. And so I can never say thank you enough and have enough gratitude for this wonderful game, which your youngsters will find out in time. And if those of you that are playing right today and are getting on in age realize what I'm saying, that it's still a sport you can compete in. And you can beat anybody at your age with your handicap. God bless all your members and God bless Australia.